Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Roshal. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, hang in there, it gets better. We have been taught to be kind and non-violent towards others, but let's turn the spotlights inwards today. Are we practicing non-violence towards ourselves? Most of us inadvertently harm ourselves psychologically, sometimes physically and spiritually without even being aware. And this can deeply affect our personal growth. So let's take a look at how we unintentionally are violent towards ourselves. So I think this video would be a little elaborative, but keep watching this. Maybe this is one thing you can do today to be kind towards yourself. I know it will get boring because our attention span is this much, but stick around. Maybe something will find you, because we are going to dive into examples, scenarios, and how to change your own narrative. That being said, let's hear out nice parable before we start. So, once upon a time there was this magnificent and a beautiful snake which lived at the outskirts of the village. It terrorized the village people and the kids. So one day, once a monk was passing through, that monk used to travel from one village to another. When he arrived to that village, the villagers told him about the snake. The monk said, "I will speak with the snake." And while he was speaking with the snake, he urged the snake to end its violence and its violent ways towards others. And the snake, being kind, took the advice seriously and tried to bring about the change. Now, a year later, the monk arrived in the same village again and thought of meeting with the snake to see how it's doing and how it has transformed. But the monk found out that the snake was afraid and was hiding behind the rocks, and it lost all its charm and magnificent energy. And he was literally starving. He was perplexed. He asked the snake, "What happened?" The snake said, "I followed your advice and I stopped being violent. People started throwing stones at me, so I had to hide. I couldn't hunt. I couldn't eat." The monk was really disappointed. And then the monk said, "I did advise you against violence, but I never told you not to hiss." When we advocate against non-violence, it does not imply that we can let violence happen towards us indirectly or directly. And here are some ways we are inadvertently violent towards ourselves psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, you name it. And even I was not aware about this. I came across in a book I was reading. Let's see what these are with examples and with paraphrasing on how we could change our behavior. So let's dive right in. Number 1, negative self-talk. This is when we constantly criticize ourselves, be it regarding our appearances, status, wealth, achievements. For example, you make a mistake at work and say, "Oh, I am so incompetent. I'll never be able to do things well." You are engaging in negative self-talk. This kind of language not only undermines your confidence, but also affects your overall mood and your performance in the long run. So how do we practice non-violence? Replace negative thoughts with affirmation. It's simple. In this case, you could say, "It's okay, I made a mistake. I'm learning and I'm improving. Next time, it would be better." I know it sounds superficial and very much on the surface, but really know this when I say your body is listening to what you are saying. Now, second, personalization and disregarding our positives. This is when we focus on our mistakes and negative aspects and disregard our positive doings. In personalization, we think we are responsible for other people's reactions. To give an example, let's say you get a very positive appraisal about something, but one person gives you a negative critique. There's a tendency to look at the negatives and disregard all the positives. It has to be 100% perfect. Well, that is what I mean by disregarding our positives. And personalization can also look like when a person cancels a date or a meeting, that person doesn't want to hang out with me. They don't like me probably. This is when you're personalizing. There could be a chance that this person might be busy or not in their best physical or mental state. We usually don't give this a thought. So how can we practice non-violence over here? Acknowledge and celebrate your successes. Make a habit of listing out your positives, the things you do, good things that you do. Number 3, a very important one, disregarding our intuition and constantly doubting ourselves. This happens so inwardly. I hope that's the right word. It happens so inwardly that we don't even realize it. Disregarding our intuition and constantly doubting ourselves and ignoring our gut feelings and second guessing our decisions. For instance, you have a strong feeling about something, that something is right for you, but you keep continually doubting and looking for external validations. So how do we practice non-violence here? Trust your instincts, listen to your inner voice, and make decisions that align with your values and feelings. These decisions could be very small, but their impact could be colossal in the long run. Whatever you know it and own it, and don't doubt yourself. If it comes out wrongly, it turns out wrongly. Who the fuck cares? You learn better, but not giving yourself a chance. The next is not developing boundaries. Not developing boundaries is another way we really harm ourselves. This is how we can end up overwhelmed and taken advantage of. To give an example here, if someone is demanding some time from you, but you already are exhausted and overworked, but you still say yes, that causes violence to ourselves because we are not respecting our boundaries over here. So how do we practice non-violence here? Put your foot down and say no when you feel no. Let's say your teacher asks you to be the leader of a symposium team. This is not graded, this is just for fun. But you already are dealing with your own issues, your academic issues, something that you're carrying out on the side, but you still say yes out of the fear of authority, or you say yes because it would be rude not to say no to. She's the teacher. If I say no, then I will look incompetent. Well, what you're doing is actually I couldn't find a word, I made a face. Respecting your own limits is a form of self-care and non-violence towards yourselves. Another one is comparing ourselves with others. Oh my god, this is a huge one. This is another way you're practicing violence towards yourself without even knowing, because you're feeling the feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt over and over again. Because you can't compare. It's not a race. For example, over here, let's say you're scrolling through social media and you come across someone else's accomplishments, and then you undermine yourself and your accomplishments. You tell yourself that I am old enough and yet I can't do it. That person has done it. Remember over here that you are on your unique journey. You are another person altogether and you have your life of your own. How can you even compare two things that are completely separate? You can't be ahead or behind in life. That's just not possible, right? How can you be behind someone else's? How can we practice non-violence here? Focus on your own growth, small growths, bigger growths, anything. Celebrate your achievements. Know that everyone's journey is their unique journey and everyone has their own destination. And if not, everyone has their own present moment. Just enjoy it. There's no comparison. The next one, disrespecting our body. Disrespecting our body, emotions, and our bodily demands is another way we practice violence towards ourselves. For example, if you're feeling stressed, but you keep working without addressing these, without relaxation, you're just pushing yourself, you want to get outside of your comfort zone, that is violence towards yourselves. How can you turn that around? listen to yourself. Sit with yourself, allowing yourself to be bored. Then you will know what you really need. Now, this is my own example. This happened only last 2 weeks actually. I was feeling a bit low, so I was completely taking off time from my academics. As academics, by I mean going to college. But I was studying at home because I know that from at least from past experiences, I have known that during such times when I get into social gatherings, my energy drains so much that I cannot function throughout the rest of the day, and I won't be able to get anything done. Instead, I mindfully took out some time. I made a plan to catch up with my attendance. I made a plan to disregard some obligations, to accept some obligations, and to temper some obligations. And then I proceeded with it. And then I realized I'm actually getting out of the survival mode. Now, here people would not understand that what you're doing is for your best. This is a part of being mindful and taking care of yourself. Just taking care of your grades and your attendance and your everything that the world has caged us into. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're not doing yourself any good towards yourself. You're just, again, that face. Let's move on. So take care of yourself, whether it's relaxation, sleep, exercise, eating good food. You do you. A lot is being said on to get yourself outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes it is so negatively perceived, it often looks like you pull a goldfish and you put it on the table out of the water and say, oh, you have to function. I just pull you out of your comfort zone. You should become strong. That's not fair, now. So know when you need to navigate your comfort zones and see how can you push your boundaries instead of stepping out completely. Don't jump out of the window, na. Take the stairs. Another way we cause violence towards ourselves is by neglecting rest. I don't know what people think about rest sometimes, especially in this hyper competitive era. At least in the institutions that I have been, they wear 10 cups of coffee a day and pulling all-nighters like a badge of honor, and they call it a day. I used to do that, and it does not help. You're not doing yourself any favor. You're just blatantly ignoring your needs. Moreover, people think, I don't know what people think about rest. They think of rest as a luxury. It is not a luxury, it is a necessity for your body, your mind, your soul. That's it. It is not a luxury. You're not doing yourself a favor by working 18 hours a day. Just know that that's just disgraceful and poor judgment on your part. That's blunt, but that's true. A person who loves themselves will choose the path of least resistance. They won't purposely get into a difficult course or a difficult job or picking up the most difficult project. They know their limits and they know what they can handle, and then they choose the path of least resistance. They pick up difficult things mostly because they want to prove themselves worthy. I have one thing to say over here, and with all my conviction, with all my heart and mind. You are born worthy as the child of the universe. You are born worthy and you will die worthy. It cannot be taken from you and it cannot be given to you. Your worth is your own thing. No degree, no title, no badge, no amount of trophies and medals and whatever shit, money can define your worth. Nothing can do that. And thinking that it would make me feel worthy is just going round and round and just running in circles, chasing your tails, and after a while, it's just poor. Ew, David. So, just understand that your values and your worth is not determined by how you look, what college you go to, what scholarship you have got, how much money you make, what kind of house do you live in. None of it. Just know it. I read this beautiful line that I would rather be a hot mess of happiness instead of being perfect. And this is my screensaver on my iPad. I just love it. So, how can you practice nonviolence towards yourself today? Try by putting small changes into motion, treating yourself kindly, pampering yourself once in a while, relax, rest, and come back here and subscribe to my channel for more self-growth related content, because this is what I come up with. And I would like to hear about your experiences regarding all the points that we covered today. So feel free to drop your opinions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. All my love. Bye.